So in this particular session, we're going to look at headcount analysis. And this is the first of the three stages where we're looking at field force optimization. It's really checking whether you have the right number of people to do the job, or given with the people that you've got, are you asking them to do realistic and challenging workloads? So here we're looking at CACI's Insight Field Force solution. And what we're going to do is have a look at some data to start off with. So here we've just got some data about the places we're going to visit. So this is just a spreadsheet that's been imported into Insight Field Force. The unique identifier, name, address of the store. And what we've also got is we've got some grid coordinates so we can know exactly where each individual store is. So that's the where. In terms of the what we're doing there, we have here a frequency of call. So we're going everywhere once, and we're going everywhere for 30 minutes. We also have some other information that we might use to segment data. So this could be store data, it could be a gold, silver, bronze ranking, it could be demographics, anything that would mean that maybe we don't call on everything with the same frequency. We might want to be a bit more discriminatory, but more of that later. And we've also got who is visiting the store currently, which we'll come on to more in the territory optimization video. So because we've got the grid coordinates, we can go and plot those on a map. What we'll see is here we're working on an area of the northeast of the US. Every red dot is a store we're visiting, and the yellow squares are where the people are living currently. If we just zoom in on Boston, what we'll see is then we start seeing all the road network data. So this is data provided to us by TomTom. We use the speed profiles version of TomTom, which rather than just saying a dual carriageway is always this speed, it actually looks at segment by segment of, junction by junction of street level data. And it uses surveys to understand what the average achievable road speed is on that section of road. So it very much reflects areas that are generally congested, generally quicker, generally slower, and it really matches the reality of your reps and merchandisers' day. The other data we have is about the people. And in this example, we've got 17 people and we've got their home locations. Now we could have extra columns in here saying how many hours or how many days or what percentage of a working week they work. In this particular example, we're just working with full-time employees, but you'll see we have 17. So the first question we would ask, or the question we are asking in this session, is do we need 17 people? People are expensive. We don't want to employ people we don't want, but we want to make sure we have the right number to deliver what we've promised to the brand. So what we're going to do is go into this area here. And what we're really doing here is looking at the capacity of an individual and then looking at the demands on the team to get around the whole universe, mainly focusing on the time spent in the store and the time spent driving between stores. So here, if we look at an individual rep with working a 4-week cycle in this example, they're not working weekends, we're not stripping out other days, obviously we could do, but there are 20 days that this team are spending on the road. They're getting the first call at 9, leaving at 5, and they're spending half an hour doing lunch or admin or whatever it may be. So there are 7.5 hours left in each of these 20 days for them to do the store work and also to drive between the stores. So in effect, this is a bucket of capacity, a bucket of workload an individual can offer. So what we need to know to work out how many sort of buckets or how many full-time equivalents we need to work out how much resource is required. What is the demand? And we've got a lot of this information already. We've got all the stores, we've got how often we go in there, and we've got how long we spend in there. So the in-store kind of element, we probably know very, very well. The bit we don't know is the traveling between stores. And bearing in mind this makes up around 30% of the field person's day, so it's really important to know this accurately, to get an accurate head count. And what we'll see here is we've got lots of different figures here. So what the system is doing is it's saying for each store, let's say we take this AMP, it's saying, all right, given the stores that are around that AMP, given the road network that is around AMP, we'd expect it to be 7 minutes from leaving A&P to get to the next likely call. If we just sort by this figure, we see we have lots of stores that are sort of right next door to each other. We have other stores that are 1, 2, 3 hours away from each other. So it differs greatly. And again, this is the same in any country in the world. You'll have areas that are very easy to get around and areas that are more difficult to get around and require more driving. But in essence, what we have now is almost like demand on your field team from every single store, the time in store and the time on the road getting between stores. So in effect, with this one, we have the total demand. So if we compare the demand with the supply, what we end up here is saying, well, actually, if they are 90% utilised, which we'll touch on in a minute, if we're efficient, we actually only need 14 heads and not 17. So this utilisation figure, what this is really saying is unrealistic to plan for people to be busy 100% of the time with planned work. Things happen. So whether it's a crash, whether it's difficulty parking, whether it's having to do emergency call or a call running over or having to dash to the warehouse, whatever it may be, there are often things which hinder us from focusing on planned work 100% of the time. So in this example, what we're just allowing is 10% contingency to deal with those unforeseen events. But even with this buffering, we're saying if we're efficient, we can do it with 14. So that might make you think, all right, well, we can lose 3 people, which obviously is one way of looking at it. Alternatively, you might say, well, what we've done is we've managed to look at this and find out that if we do less driving, we can actually do more with the team that we've got. So what we can go back to is then start saying, all right, we're currently calling everywhere once for 30 minutes. Maybe we want to spend a bit more time in our top stores. So we'll go there twice and we'll go there for 40 minutes. And you can see straight away that we have a new head count. And that's only because we've got this robust travel time data, which we're using as the foundation for understanding that between stores time. Without that, it's still a guesstimate. We could take this a step further and maybe look at fascias, and maybe if we choose Walmart, and again, we can do a similar thing and make them go twice for 40 minutes. And again, we're there around our 17 heads. So this just allows you to play very quick what are scenarios, but again, on that basis of having very robust network data. So that is headcount analysis. It is really important to make sure you're not wasting money on people you don't need, and those that you are using, you're getting the real return investment for investment in the field team.